It's time once again for the Tribunal of the Triumvirate, the BitMart BrainTrust. I always screw that up, and I'm the host.
BitMart British BrainTrust.
that is coming soon. We welcome your letters. But I am your host, Matt Ryan, and I'm joined as always by two of my favorite humans in the crypto space, two of my favorite non-fungible humans. You know him, you love him. He is the SEO master, and looking like he plays in Soundgarden today, it's Kelechi eBay.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Play us a lick there, Mr. eBay.
And that person you're seeing on screen right now and you're hearing his voice, that's Nathan Simone. He is the host of the Crypto Conversations and BitMart Bites and also the Daily Crypto Watch. We wear many hats and he has many cups. He's drinking out of cups. Seahorses rule. But gentlemen, I want to ask you, how's your week been? What you up to? And I got a question. We were talking about this before the show about what we would talk about this week on the BrainTrust, and Nathan had a really cool idea. But Kelechi, before we go into that cool idea, because I want Nathan to be the one who brings it to the floor, how you doing?
Doing good. Just working and like enjoying life, I guess. Just spending a lot of time with family and working on my NFT project on the side. It's not easy to launch an NFT project. There's a lot of work that goes into that. So yeah, just splitting my time between my NFT project, obviously working at BitMart, a lot of exciting campaigns that we have going on, and then just spending time with family and playing Madden.
What's the name of that project again, Kelechi?
Ghost Chain NFT Club. You guys should check it out.
And it's on what blockchain?
Cardano.
Oh, okay. Because that makes sense because nobody uses Cardano.
I think a lot of people are going to start using it soon after a lot of the conversations we've had on this show. Primarily because of the stuff we were talking about on BitMart Bites on Friday, Nathan, regarding Solana. And that, not good.
Oh, yeah. Solana, maybe, goes down too much, maybe is a little bit too centralized. That's for another conversation. Of course, I'm just kidding with Kelechi there. I'm a big Cardano fan. This is not a Cardano specific show. That's a running joke that we have that maybe we need to get away from because we rely on it a little bit too much in our wheelhouse. But it's a good segue to me wanting to talk about with you guys. And this kind of goes back to when me and Matt did a solo BrainTrust, where we were discussing me and Matt both had college radio shows. I asked Matt how he got into wrestling. It was kind of like a more heartfelt, crypto can be very cold and technical and programmy. And I'm kind of trying to get into more of the cultural aspects of crypto. And I wanted to ask you guys, Matt can answer first or Kelechi can answer first. And I'll be the last to go. Let's put it that way. What was your guys's first experience with crypto or NFTs? How did you actually get into the crypto NFT space? I know that we all work for BitMart now, so we're kind of forced to be in it because this is our job, it's our livelihood. But I'm always interested in you have this moment because this technology and this culture is so new that you have this moment where you just didn't know about it one day and then you knew about it the next day. And you either went down the rabbit hole or you ignored it or what? I'm just interested in the full stories here, and we can just kind of banter about that today. And then maybe Kelechi has some cool NFT news or something that we can talk about.
Well, yeah, mine is a little less intense or a little less long than you guys because I really got into it in earnest when I started here at BitMart about 4 months ago. When I have some coins. I have some crypto, but it's more of part of my stock portfolio more than anything. But I started learning about it when the rise of the internet, and you saw in my neighborhood places taking Bitcoin or having Bitcoin ATMs or Bitcoin vending machines and having these different assets to them. And it's because, it's a part of the cultural consciousness. It's part of the cultural conversation. It's been a part of the zeitgeist for 5-6 years now, going back even further to when it really started emerging in culture. But for me, it was more hearing my friends talk about it or hearing people in my neighborhood talk about it as a financial alternative. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to, I'm an artist, I'm a creative guy. I'm not like
Sure.
a fancy captain of industry business person. But you know, it started looking like a possible investment, and I'm still acclimating to it because you're trying to decondition yourself from what we know about currency. Because I worked in finance for a few years. I worked in Bloomberg Radio, so I was there during the rise of Facebook and Instagram. I was there when Facebook went public. I was there when, you know, these large-scale acquisitions went down. I was there for the crowning of a pope, the voting of a pope. And I've seen, you know, a lot of things go boom and a lot of things go bust. So working for Bloomberg Radio really made me more cautious, especially, you know, just where the country's been since the pandemic. It's caused a rise in crypto and NFTs. It's kind of what I think helped facilitate the first boom that we saw because everybody was home. I think that created, like, more people are on the internet, more people are learning about these things, more people are figuring, like, when Elon Musk is talking about it and everybody's using Twitter, or everybody hears about it because someone gets a text in a group chat because everybody's working from home. I think that was one of the things that really induced the first major boom in 2020 and 2021 for crypto and NFTs. And that was where I started paying attention to what it is and what the impact could be on society here in the United States and beyond.
Sure, that's an interesting story, Matt. I wanted to make one small correction, and that's not your fault because I know that you're new to this. We'll make a correction, say 2020 and 2022 being first major mainstream boom.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Like,
that's
where
what
it's
I
like
wanted to say.
the price is getting covered on the nightly news, or it's getting traditional news coverage, because it always existed, and there were booms, like it got to thousands of dollars over the course of a period of time, and there were booms within that. But I mean, like, to where Warren Buffett is taking notice, and all of these big financial, you know, these tycoons, these titans, these Elon Musks of the world are really diving into it as a weapon for them.
Sure. And I wanted to ask you just a quick caveat before we go into Kelechi's story here. Do you remember what was the first crypto you ever heard of? And do you remember whether it was guy, gal, pal, you know, whoever, what you thought when they mentioned, you know, whether it was Bitcoin, Dogecoin, whatever? Because most people's reactions are they hear about it from somebody who's into it. They trust this person, but even to that person they trust, they're like, what are you talking about? Digital money? You're crazy. And they just wave it off. That's almost always how this works. So I'm interested in what you heard of first, who you heard it from, and what your like initial reaction was.
It was Bitcoin. It was the OG, triple OG. I forget why I heard of it, because I started seeing more stores in my neighborhood in Sunset Park start talking about crypto. I saw some places in Jersey City, like as early as 2014, utilizing Bitcoin or things of that nature, or like saying you can get Bitcoin here. And I kind of initially shook it off because I was like, what is this? Like, I'm always weary of things like that, of like new money or ways to make money, because you're always suspicious that it's a scam, because we've seen, you know, and all, or it's going to be a boom and bust, like the subprime mortgage market, or like there's a bubble to it. And seeing it grow over the past decade or so, you start to acclimate to it a little more. I was very hesitant 10 years ago. Now I'm more in line with those who can see this as a huge way to democratize the world a lot better, to create financial institutions and financial independence for nations that are unable to sustain it. Sustain banks, sustain treasuries, things like that. There's real viability here, but to me, it comes down to the who's in charge of the soul of cryptocurrency. And that's a hard question. I think that's an impossible question to answer, because for every activist, for every Be My Tree that we speak to, there's always going to be the craven, quote unquote, crypto bro, the stereotype.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think any of us here fit that description. And we work in cryptocurrency. We work in NFTs. We work in non-fungible finance. And even though me and Nathan's jobs are to sell band uniforms and Kelechi's to figuring out how to get you to the band uniforms, it's in, there are more people who look and think about it like us than there are those who look to be predatory with it. But you're going to hear more about the predatory stuff because that's just the way the news cycle is. And that's just the way, whenever someone is doing the right thing, you don't write a news story about it. Whenever someone's doing the wrong thing or someone's being a jerk, that's when you're going to hear it.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree with you more. Kelechi, did your camera stop working?
Yeah. I'm trying to get it back on.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries.
Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'll get us started out here in a bit. But yeah, I mean, to Matt's last point, yeah, I could say the same thing with specific like blockchains and stuff too. Like, of course, I'm biased when it comes to Cardano. Like, we never get all the good stuff right now going on with Cardano, but when something bad happens, oh my God,
gosh,
end of the world. But that's just beside the point. But yeah, to Matt's point, like 2020, the 2020 bull run / early 2021, that's when, of course, we had the previous bull run in 2017, but the latest bull run was when it really got like mainstream attention a lot. And what I mean by that is, for example, like Google, like one of the updates that they made was they created a specific session about cryptocurrency, I think in Google Finance or Google News or something like that in the search engine. That wasn't there before, things like that. Like Tesla, like putting Bitcoin in their balance sheet, like, Elon Musk, like investing in Bitcoin and those types of things. They were not as prevalent like in the last bull run, but yeah, right now, it became more and more popular. But for me, like when I got started with crypto, mine was a little bit like longer than Matt's, of course, but it was in 2016 when my mentor, like, he told me about it. So because he taught me a lot of stuff I know today in terms of like how to build a website, HTML, CSS, how to, basically, advertise and things like that. He wanted me to build all those skill sets because he saw that was going to be needed in the future. So he was the one, like somebody that I always lean into to learn about like futuristic stuff, right? So because back then I was just interested in like e-commerce type stuff, how to sell products online, Shopify or just e-commerce type stuff. I wasn't into crypto. And back then he told me about Bitcoin. And I was like, you know what? I don't really understand this. Like right now I'm so focused on e-commerce. I don't want anything to distract me away from it. And could you believe it? Back then Bitcoin was like $2,000. And I was like, why would I pay like $2,000 for Bitcoin? Like,
oh gosh. Oh yeah.
Just the same way with the whole NFT thing. Like why would I spend $250 on a Bored Ape? Like that was the same kind of that was the same thing like back then. And I remember he also sent me a message. I remember vividly. He sent me a message on Skype about like Vitalik Buterin. He said to check this guy out. He's gonna be this big shot. He's creating this decentralized thing that nobody can stop it. It's gonna disrupt banks, disrupt finance, disrupt everything. And that's when I started like really looking into it. But I did not like invest like heavily on it. I actually missed the 2017 bull run. I only saw the trend when it was trending on LinkedIn. I saw like this stuff on the side that Bitcoin hits 20K. I did not I wasn't a part of that bull run, but it was in 2020 when the COVID crash happened. That's when he was like, dude, if you don't get in now, like this is the last time you're going to see Bitcoin at $3,000.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, if you don't get in now, you're going to hate yourself in the future. So do whatever you can, dollar cost averaging. You don't have to buy the whole thing, just like dollar cost averaging. And I started dollar cost averaging. into Bitcoin, into Ethereum, into Cardano, into Chainlink, and most of these top, cryptocurrencies. And that, like, yeah. So 2020 was when I really started like actively investing in crypto, and up to today. But when it comes to NFTs, it was like in late, I would say mid to late 2021. That's when I really started getting into it. I started seeing like this Apes project, CryptoPunks, and I at first I was like, this cannot be real, right? Like, why will I spend this money? The same mistake I made with Bitcoin, I made it with with NFTs. I was like, why will I pay? I could easily just invest this $250 on 100 more Chainlink, like Link token. Why would I spend it on a Bored Ape? And I missed that, obviously, and now I hate myself. But that was my journey. That was my journey to NFTs. But now, obviously, I own a lot of NFTs on Ethereum blockchain. I own some in Solana as well. I own a lot in Cardano. But yeah, that's kind of how I started.
I feel like you shouldn't hate yourself as much. Like, I can't say you shouldn't hate yourself because I hate myself, but don't hate yourself over that, because, looking at a piece of art that doesn't interest you, that's $250, you're not going to think, oh, people are going to go crazy over these ape portraits. A rational thought in your head doesn't think, oh, this is going to be worth $1.5 million one day because it's an ape that's drawn to look like Sir Beauregard or something like that, or kind of look like Madonna, maybe. That's not a rational thought in your head. And art in itself isn't rational, but right. I wouldn't hate myself over that. Other things, yeah, but I wouldn't hate myself over that.
I mean, but like when you look at the price, though, it's like from $250, and now it's over like $250,000. Like, that's hard to swallow.
Yeah, I mean, and Yuga Labs is one of those very interesting situations where, if you want my humble opinion, I think Yuga Labs was in the right place at the right time, and they just got lucky because they had great marketing. I don't think that BAYC was just super different than a whole host of other Ethereum projects that were out there, but it had that special oomph and that special spark. And once you get the eyes of a couple of celebrities,
right,
you're off to the races, right? It doesn't matter whether you're selling Coca-Cola or swing sets, Yeah. So what's interesting is definitely don't hate yourself, Kelechi, and Matt, don't hate yourself either. In fact, I feel privileged.
You're not my therapist.
Right now. I feel privileged right now to say that I don't hate myself usually on most days. I've forgiven myself for being the imperfect person that I am. However, I have a story that tops even Kelechi's in terms of just not getting in at the right time, but I do have a little bit of an excuse, and that was because I didn't have money, literally. So I got into crypto probably late 2014, early 2015, if I'm being generous to myself. So let's go with early 2015. Back then, Coinbase, I believe, did exist, but it was like invite only, and it was very clunky, and you could maybe buy 3 or 4 things. I did not have a Coinbase account or anything like that. The first time I heard about crypto, I was either browsing Reddit or I was just searching online for something. And I kept hearing about this thing called Bitcoin. And they were like, Bitcoin, it's digital money. Bitcoin, it does this. And I was like, I had a PayPal account, and I was trying to sell stuff on eBay in between jobs. And I was like really fascinated with like, oh, you can like make money online, and like you don't have to go into like a store or a warehouse or any of the traditional jobs that I'd had to make money. And I was like, wow, if I could make money from home, which is ironic because that's like all that I've been doing for the past 5 years or so with my different jobs. I was like, that's so cool. And I was like, this new form of money that's like PayPal or something. I didn't really understand it. I found this service. You can go look this up. It was a service called We Sell Crypto, and it was run by a guy named Greg. I don't think Greg had a last name. And it was a service that sold Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and a little known crypto, which is technically still around, called Redcoin. Actually, one of the first proof of stake coins in existence. Okay. Bitcoin And all you do is you would send money to this PayPal address. You'd contact Greg. You'd be like, here's my address, send it to me. And you just trust him to send it back to you. And to Greg's credit, he always sent it. Okay. Greg was a real mensch. Okay. Greg was a trustworthy guy. When I'm not kidding you when I say that when I'm going to show you how old I am and how old the prices were. Litecoin was trading for around $2 or $3 on a good day. Dogecoin was many, many zeros till you got to the price. Okay, it was not above a penny. Redcoin was also fractions of a zero. Ethereum may have been like $5 or $7 on a good day.
Wow.
And Bitcoin, I remember this specifically. Bitcoin was the highest of all, and Bitcoin was $300. And I thought,
Wow.
my gosh,
Wow.
who would pay $300 for computer code? What am I going to do with this? I give them $300, which I need for food, gas, whatever, and I'm just going to get like bits of information. What is this? What is that? Like, this is going to be over. Like, what is this?
Right.
And I will never forget looking at that screen and thinking, $300? I don't have $300. And you don't have to be a wizard to open up the history books and figure out that it has been a long, long, long time since Bitcoin has been $300. And if it's ever $300 again, that means the world is either coming to an end or this is a unique buying opportunity. So, yeah.
That's never gonna happen. Just, oh man, there's so much money, so much whales, and so much, like, no one cares. Like, I don't care what happened. Like, people they're just gonna scoop everything up. Like Michael Saylor and those guys are just gonna buy like all of it.
And it was $300. So I bought some Litecoin. I bought some Redcoin. I learned how to make paper wallets. That was a cool thing back then. Not really recommended now. It's not very technologically secure, but that was a fun thing to do. There were like all sorts of like hobby kits, and it was a hobby. I was never in my wildest dreams was I like, this is going to make me money. This is going to be a good investment. I was like, I barely even knew about regular stocks and bonds back then. I was probably just getting started with learning about financial stuff. And I was like, this is a cool internet fun thing where like people are using money in quotations. They like invented money and now they're like doing all this stuff with it. So that was it. And I mean, my gosh, if I'd had the money, I wish that I'd put a bunch of it into it right now. Of course, I won't even say that's a regret because I just didn't know. But you know, I had some stuff. I held on to it. It's still not worth it's not life-changing amounts of money, but it taught me a good lesson that crypto over time usually does better than not. Twice I have missed out on huge gains because one, I did not know how to sell my crypto. So I was there in the 2017, 2018 bull market. I had a bunch of Redcoin. Redcoin went from multiple zeros to 3 cents. I could have had many thousands of dollars. I watched the amount go up on the screen. I had no idea where you sell it, how you sell it, how you exit it. So that just went to nothing. And then pre-2021, I believe, whenever Dogecoin had its rise, I used to have a significant amount of Dogecoin because it was just fun, right? And it was like free. You could buy like a bajillion Dogecoin for like $100.
Right.
And if I'd held and knew that Elon Musk was gonna Elon Musk,
Right.
I might not be talking to you here on this call. I still had a teensy bit, but it was once again, it's nothing life changing. It's nothing I can quit my job over or anything like that. It's just fun money that became, I guess we'll call it real money. So
we would have been working for Nathan Simone's BitMart. That's what
that would have been fun. Let me put it this way. I would have definitely hired you guys. Okay. I would have hired you guys and I would have paid you whatever you asked. All right. Just to get you on my team. Right. So I think that that's kind of the short and long of me getting into crypto. NFTs, it's similar to you, Kelechi. I knew about NFTs, but I didn't get into them until late 2021. Honestly, if I'm going to be super honest, early 2022, because I was kind of skeptical of them. And I thought, crypto's one thing. I know crypto. NFTs, I don't know. This seems a little bit scammy. So I remember looking on OpenSea when the BAYC came out and seeing that they were like $500. And I'll tell you what, I had the same I had the same thought process as when I looked at that Bitcoin for $300. I thought, oh my gosh, somebody's found a way to get people to pay them $500 for JPEGs.
For
And I thought,
JPEG.
God love them. God love them, but I won't participate in it. And of course, that was the wrong decision. So, that's kind of the short and long of it. I've been in the space recreationally a long time and had taken breaks from it, but professionally, only about 6 to 7 months now. So it's been a crazy journey, to say the least.
Well, this edition of the BitMart BrainTrust has been a bit of a wild goose chase and a little bit of a bounce around, a little bit of a long journey. The goose is actually, there's a goose loose in my apartment right now. Like, my roommate's out of town.
Whoa.
And
Oh, wait, you serious?
Yes, there's a
little-
goose named Clement just running around my apartment.
Fill up that bathtub. He probably wants to swim.
Trust me, it's a whole thing with the dog. It's turned into like a weird, like they're both wearing leather jackets and smoking, so I have to go handle that.
Whoa.
Hopefully next week I won't be having to stop my dog from going down Thunder Road in Grease Lightning and trying to defeat any villains or bandoleros that have come into River City. I've just combined 9 different movies. It's been a long day. You give me the grace of doing that, but this is my show, so I can say what I want, Baba Booey. But I want to thank Nathan Simone and Kelechi eBay for joining us here again on the BitMart BrainTrust. Always fun to learn more about my buddies, learn more about the people I work with on a daily basis, and also kind of give you guys an understanding of where we're coming from every week when we talk about things with some semblance of authority. These guys more than me, but the point still stands. We always have a great time, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to NFT 101 and the Crypto Conversations podcast feed. Be sure to follow us all on Twitter and also BitMart Exchange. Follow the mothership, if you will, on the Twitter machine. All that info is in the show notes. And let us know what your crypto journey was. To tag us on Twitter with the hashtag Crypto Journey and let us know how you first heard about any of the coins we have on the BitMart Exchange, and sign up now if you're new to your crypto journey. Head over to bitmart.com and use the sign-up code BSMART. That is BSMART at sign-up, and you get your chance to win some sweet, sweet Skrilla. We win about $3,000 in welcome bonuses, gentlemen. That's not bad.
Not too shabby. I'd prefer it to having a goose in my apartment.
Yes. Hey, you can't put paprika on a live. All right, we're going to go. But for all of us here at BitMart, we'll see you next time right here on the lovely BitMart BrainTrust.
Fill up that bathtub. Hello to everybody out there in crypto land. Did you enjoy that conversation? I know that I did. It's always interesting to learn more about crypto projects, NFTs, and what is going on in this very unique industry. But now we've got to get some legal stuff out of the way, all right? It's just the way that it is. So I wanted to let you know that all opinions and actions expressed and undertaken by the hosts and guests are individual opinions and actions and do not reflect the views and actions of BitMart. BitMart does not guarantee the accuracy, applicability, reliability, integrity, performance, completeness, or appropriateness of this content. The value of digital currencies can go up or down, and there can be a substantial risk in buying, selling, holding, or investing in digital currencies. You should carefully consider whether trading or holding digital currencies is suitable for you based on your personal investment objectives, financial circumstances, and risk tolerance. BitMart does not provide investment, tax, or legal advice. Use of BitMart services is entirely at your own risk.